everyone. I'm feeling a pretty big change for the sentiment for DogPack in general as a person, because now the most recent stuff on his Twitter that people have been like, I don't know if we still trust you, was proving that the domestic violence charge he had on James Warren, or he believed it was from James Warren, were actually not about him, or not even actually domestic violence. And to me, I don't find that surprising, because when I first watched part 3, that part about James Warren, I was like, can you really prove that? It seems like a lot of bullshit, to be honest. And now fast forward to today, and yeah, it was bullshit, but now that he himself has come out to say that it wasn't him, makes it seem for a lot of people that initially believed him or were mainly on his side were like, oh man, that really sucks, because he did ruin his credibility when he put out something that he had no like actual form of or any basis on, and it turned out to be bullshit, like not real at all. And he's using the excuse, just like last time, of saying like he's not a professional journalist or investigator, so his goal is to bring credible allegations to light so they can be properly investigated. And that is true. All he is just like an ex-employee that has a couple of videos, millions of views. However, it doesn't take, like a professional, a journalist, to look at this stuff that you have no idea if it's actually James Warren and be like, maybe I shouldn't include this in the video. And that's another funny thing as well. When he first made part 3, I saw like the 5 or 6 cases that he saw with James Warren were proven to be actual domestic violence. But now that he even proved that it wasn't for that, so it could have been, for anything else, like, traffic charges, anything else, then I'm like, so how confident were you to like go from like the testimonies, just rumors, to actually being like an actual criminal charge that was real? I could have given some leeway when most of the names were James Warren. That is weird. But if you don't even know for a fact that's actually for domestic violence, then don't go on your video and be like 100% it is domestic violence. It doesn't turn down the potential rumor that James Warren is a piece of shit, that he lost his wife, but in the screenshot that DogPack featured, included in his tweet, was from like another ex-employee who just said directly that rumor started from someone else in the company who just looked up his name, but he didn't find anything on him at all. And from that point of origin of just nothing, it stepped up, up the ladder to become a rumor, a pretty big rumor that is now part of, the whole timeline of, this whole Mr. Beast expose series. Another person that had a big hand in making up this rumor was Maddie Spadell, Jimmy's ex-girlfriend, who was describing the messages as wine drunk most of the time. So that's two people, like the two potential evidence, that DogPack relies on being tore down. Number one being the ex-employees who clearly, just believe the rumors right off the gate. And number two, Maddie, who was drunk most of the time and just wanted to gossip non-stop. I don't blame the employees for having like rumors. I mean, it's a massive company. There's bound to be stories, being spread around about like random shit that people don't, like proof check. But when it comes to DogPack, he's someone that, is taking these rumors and putting in the video, makes him like it's actually like hardcore proof, like actually legitimate, when it's not, and it's based off nothing. And with Maddie, he's defended her as being someone that was close to Jimmy, and that, might have been for some abuse, who knows. But now that we know by someone else that she was wine drunk most of the time and loved to gossip, you can't really take everything he says as being true. And I can't remember if I said it before in my last video about like DogPack, but in the season 6, one part I skimmed over was like how it said right there that when Dawson was working there at Mr. Beast, he had a 90-day trial to see like how good he was an employee, but he only lasted 21 days before being fired for wasting company money on buying an iMac that he really needed. And the two funny things after that is that he begged for a job after, which like if he knew there was like shit going on, why would you beg for a job back there? And second of all, he blamed the reason why he was like being a bad employee, just being lazy, alongside wasting company money, being that he grew up being an iPad kid, and that's why he was lazy. And I don't trust someone, that not only begged for a job back at a company that now he detests and hates and denounces, and that now has shown to be lazy and hasty with stuff, as we clearly know with the evidence he showed, like, in the expose videos, being based on nothing and just very rushed out. So that was the first part, but another thing that led people to like go against him, that made them be like, huh, to him, was that in an interview with Umperville, to like, you know, talk about like the whole video series, the whole reputation, was that he mentioned right then and there that in order to like see the documents about like the criminal charges for James Warren, all 6 of them, he had to send a Freedom of Information request to the state to fully see it, because, you know, it's private. And it sounds complicated, but all it took to send that and get it back and see all the stuff was just simply 2 weeks. He ruined his credibility and like put all that stuff out there that made him look so dumb for simply just now waiting 2 weeks.
There's 6 court cases, which could be traffic violations, could be DV related, but it doesn't say on the public registry what it is. So you have to submit a Freedom of Information request, which then takes like 2 weeks. So that's the real reason. But then,
okay.
Yeah, what was the other part of that question?
It was hard before siding with him, but now it's even harder when you know like he couldn't even wait that short bit of time to just put that stuff out there or prove it, you know, it's being real. He did say before he was on a rush to get out part 3 as soon as possible, but I don't think he was, because that's not how you do expose videos. When you make exposés when you have everything ready, it's all proven. You don't structure it when it's formless and baseless and can be disproven in just 2 weeks. So that was another big fuck up. But I don't want to stop there, because the whole interview with Umperville, it was like a very bizarre insight on like, just the way he works or like the way he manages this. Because moving past that, he goes on to like say how most ex-employees that he talks with, his sources, they bring up stuff about underage people, like very heavy topics that he doesn't want to tackle unless it's 100% proven, which is a bit hypocritical, you know, when he throws that stuff about James Warren based on nothing. And by the way, this interview came out before he made that tweet saying like none of the charges were actually that James Warren. So he clearly doesn't care about just throwing stuff out there in the wind and, you know, just barely saying allegedly. And moving past that, he says like how the one thing he wishes that he could do was that once he makes part 4, he wants to consider part 3, the one right now, as part 2.5, because the quality of that video isn't as good as like the first 2 parts. So that one's, you know, a middle section. And I find that so bizarre because I don't know why quality. I mean, part 3 was awful. I've said it again and again, but I don't think you should rank expose videos based on the aesthetic, more so on what you actually put on the table, what evidence you bring. And he actually says that himself. Like, he says that he wants every part to have a clean aesthetic, which is why part 3 is weakest in his eyes. Which I don't see why that would matter when you're trying to expose who you believe to be pedophiles and rapists in a company who should be fired. Like, that would be like aesthetic, you know, from expose video should be a very sideline problem, like not that big. It was the same deal with Dream, or like, you know, like about a year ago, when the whole allegation of him being a groomer, he made like a response video, which proved most of the allegations as being lies and won him back a bit of respect. But the issue being that video, he tried like way too long. Like, he spent days and days making the video like very high quality to make it entertaining, when in reality, he could make like a much simpler video, just saying all the stuff is being lies, and just finish there, in order to stop the allegation from growing bigger and bigger, and just get a response just out there. But back to the interview with Umperville, because when you look at DogPack, you can see it like in his eyes, his whole face, the regret in him for covering James Warren in the video grows bigger and bigger, because you can tell he was like, oh fuck, that whole evidence was, you know, just from nothing. I have nothing to talk about him. But even then, he shifts the blame to being like, he felt like, you know, talking to like most of the ex-employees, he felt like it was like common knowledge that James Warren had a domestic violence charge on him, and then finishing that with, you know, allegedly.
It seems to be, from my phone calls, common knowledge that James Warren was sort of like that, you know, allegedly.
I have no disrespect for Umperville, I like him, but he says at one point like how it'd be cool if DogPack, if he made the 3 videos, this can be 4 videos, and then he just quit the channel there, like he didn't make any more videos, like just left the channel as like a legacy. And I'd be like, it would be interesting, but not in the same way that like Umperville is saying it as. It'd be interesting in the way of, you know, how do you not make expose videos? Like, what parts do you avoid and what parts do you keep? Because I will admit, some parts of the video, they were pretty heavy. Like the whole Delaware manager, who was proven to be a registered sex offender. That part, he did shine light on that. But he could have shined more light in the company if his subsequent expose videos weren't as dog shit, as well as showing that he doesn't care about just throwing stuff out there in the wind. Because then in the interview again, he brings up, with the repeated prefix of "someone told me" about like how Jimmy's dad is the head of security and company, and how he randomly pulls knives on people from nowhere. Which, that's definitely a good story to pull out of nowhere and paint it as true. The next part, that was the part I was referring to earlier about like just taking 2 weeks to send a freedom of information request to the state and get the whole charge, like to be like read the whole thing. And even then you can tell he's like, oh yeah, it could have taken 2 weeks, but I wanted to include the video, why not? But the last part about Jimmy is how he believes he's a misogynist, just reiterating that he's a creepy weirdo based on 2 stories, people in the company, 2 nothing stories. One of them being like how one of the camera people was a woman, and that made Jimmy uncomfortable when she went up to like really up close to his face with camera and like told her to step back, even though it might have been uncomfortable because there was a camera right in front of his fucking face. So overall, I'm gonna say it feels gratifying to see DogPack, be proved to be an idiot. But that's only because I want this story, of like, bad secrets about the company of Mr. Beast to be handled by a better person than just him. Because the way that he's managing it, it's just awful. And he has said again and again how he's not a professional journalist and people should go to like big publications, like get all the stories. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. But you're poisoning the well of these stories, of these, allegations by making your videos that then proven to have very little evidence. Like, just don't make part 4. Just get everything you have about Mr. Beast, about the whole company, and give it to someone else. Just don't handle it yourself, okay? You suck. Just get him out of here. I don't want to see his face again.